Summer, I actually went to a study abroad before my senior year to India. Like, oh, I'm gonna have a week break in between from when I end my internship and go to India. So why don't I take advantage? So I was Googling what are cheap countries around India. Started scrolling, seeing things, and then I ran across Thailand. I heard many beautiful things about the food, about the people, about the country. So I booked some tickets and I also asked if anyone from the study abroad wanted to come with me. One person said yes and they joined about halfway through, but I honestly had no expectations. It was about a week there, Bangkok, the city, and then Krabi, which is in the south. And before I arrived, like a month out, I started planning some things here and there, getting to know the city a little bit more. And then also I was reaching out to some friends that I had made during my time at UW. There's a lot of international students and some of them happened to be from Thailand and they were going to be there as well. So when I arrived, I was super duper happy. I was like, okay, we're going to settle into a hostel in the Khao San Road area. Somewhat touristy as there's festivals and parties going on all night. Definitely a lot of shenanigans around that area. Additionally, I knew that I had to go see some temples and try some food, especially in the Chinatown district area. I had heard that was the most fire place ever. And lastly, I was very aware of tuktuk scam. Kind of accidentally fell for one because it wasn't the exact same post on Reddit. So I was like, oh shoot. There was a nice man who offered me a ride for the whole day, and he offered me to do it for a very cheap amount of bahts. And to be honest, the conversion rate was also tripping me up. I don't remember exactly how many, but I do realize in hindsight that was probably very, very little. So there must have been something going on there. But it wasn't a full-on scam because I think it was more commission-based. He stopped by this Buddhist statue, and when I was doing that, he went ahead and got me a Red Bull, and then I tried it, and I was like, oh, this guy's really nice. He's, going out of his way to show me his country, things like that. Afterwards, he took me to a suit tailor shop where he was telling me that there was a promotion going on. Now, this was a bit closer to what the people were saying on Reddit. So, I was going along with it. I was like, honestly, I've been thinking about getting a suit for a while. I kind of like that suit a lot. It was tailored very well to me. I just wish the quality was a little bit better, especially the button downs where I have one that seems to get really hot and sweaty. But ultimately, I wasn't too mad. He was going to try to scam me for more though. He took me to this ferry place and the ferry people were trying to charge me for a lot of money. I think that one was a little bit too outrageous and I was like, no way, I'm going to take that. I was like, take me home immediately. I was a little worried actually that I was going to get kidnapped at some point at the very end because it was kind of going into the middle of nowhere. But when I finally said no, he was like, okay, we'll go back to your hostel. So that's one of the biggest impressions Bangkok, the city, left for me. The other thing is that it is such a mall city. I've never seen so many malls in a city. It just felt like every building was a mall. So I don't think I'll ever go to Bangkok again for that long because I'm going to go right back down to the south or maybe the north. I hear that's a beautiful place as well. But in the south, I stayed at a place called Krabi, very close to a location called Ao Nan. And there I had amazing food. I drove an amazing Vespa. I went to some Thai boxing, like Muay Thai almost. I saw some elephants and a lot of monkeys. The food in the south was like insanely spicy and I loved every second of it. I am someone who enjoys spicy food and I put that shit on everything. Vespa, very, very, very first time driving a motorcycle or Vespa of any sort. I've been wanting for the longest time. And when I was coming into the city, I was noting that there was a lot of Vespas for renting and it was very cheap as well. So I was like, you know what, I'm doing it. I remember going up to the rental place and I was like, I have never driven a bike, but I'm here to rent one. And they're like, okay, cool. So do you want like the motorcycle or do you want the Vespa, which is a little bit lighter to use? And I was like, let me try the motorcycle for a second. So I got on and then I was like, vroom, vroom, and that shit was a little too powerful. So I was like, I'll opt for the Vespa. Mind you, the Vespa also still does have a learning curve. It's just not gonna lurch forward every 2 seconds away from you when you put a little bit of pressure on the throttle. The very first night that I got it, I went back and forth on the same street like 3 times. And then I was like, you know what, I'm ready. And then I start going a bit further up the city. And I'm like, okay, this is good. And then I get close to the freeway. I'm like, okay, I come off to the shoulder into a parking lot. And I'm like, okay, am I ready for this? Yes, I am. And then I started going into the freeway and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not ready for this. I still can't properly stop. And then for some odd reason, that particular time, the wind was going in between my glasses somehow, like perfectly. So I wasn't able to see that well. So then I was like trying to stop and then go back before I got onto the main freeway. That was a bit scary because I remember I was on the wrong side of the road for a little second as I was trying to like come around. And then I got into like the side of the road and like the shoulder where the gravel was a little bit. And I was like, okay, let me take some time to pause and breathe. And then I was like, I'm ready. Because I had accidentally gotten to the main one. So now I needed to turn around, think of a T-shaped road. So then I turn back around and then I'm like, okay, going back into the city. Yeah, like it should be very safe. But about 3 days later, I was like perfectly fine. I don't know what happened that one time too, because the wind wasn't as irritating that second time that I went through the actual freeway. And this was like an hour drive because we went to go see this Buddhist statue that's about like 1,000 feet up or something. And that was exhilarating. Every single second I loved. I'm definitely gonna buy a motorcycle in the future. And that's actually how I also got to the boxing place, because I had my little Vespa and it was a little bit cheaper because I didn't have to Bolt, which is their Uber. Bolt everywhere. The elephant sanctuary that we went to is a sanctuary, so they take care of the elephants ethically. Can't ride it, etc. And we're mainly there just to help clean and support them a bit more, like feeding them. One day I will definitely go back